Yeah, all good. All good. Just gone for a nice, peaceful Sunday evening walk. It's nice and fresh. Nice spring evening. It's nice and light. Clocks are going forward. And I was doing a bit of reflecting going for a walk, and I was thinking one of the things I learned in football over the years from working in football was keeping brutal honesty as your compass. Now, look, I'm not here to give anyone advice or make suggestions. I'm giving you my own reflections, and keeping that brutal honesty as your compass is something that sort of is reflecting on how it kind of mirrors life to a certain degree too. You learn lessons in football, but you also learn lessons in football that are transferable to life in general and other areas of life, or be academia or business or whatever. And what I mean by that, and like for example, where it's being able to see the situation what it is, with that brutal honesty, with no filters, taking that sort of look, metaphorically speaking, in the mirror and seeing the situation for what it is, not trying to dress it up or whatever, just seeing it for what it is. And that can be challenging at times, and certainly in football, you might find yourself in a situation where you're not performing well as a team, and as a team you've got to look at yourselves and think, okay, we've got to be brutally honest about our performances here. We've got to be brutally honest, not make excuses for why we're underperforming. And don't get me wrong, certain things don't go your way at times in football. Certain things you might get a refereeing decision or the season, certain things or whatever, injuries, whatever, come up. But for the most part, over the course of the season, that evens itself out with most teams. You've got to be brutally honest about the situation to change it. And, sometimes players, they might come up and sort of ask for your thoughts and whatever, where they need to improve and other things. And it's like, just being brutally honest. Better be sort of brutally honest. And once you've got that honesty, you can use that as a compass to sort of move forward. If you need to improve in a certain area, you need to change something or not putting it in training, and just being brutally honest. And I think that's transferable in life. You see people, for example, in relationships, they go back in these relationships and they go back in these toxic situations, and it's like, they're not sort of being brutally honest about the situation. They sort of make excuses and allowances. Then life passes them by and they're still stuck in the same situation. And it's not for me to say what people should and shouldn't do. It's entirely up to them. I'm sure there's plenty of permutations that go with it. But the point being is that comes a point in your life, and be it in relationships, be it like in work, there's a brutal honesty, and it could be running a business that's not working out, or you could be in a job that just not for you. And I know these things aren't always easy and it's sort of cut and dry to just sort of change things. It's not always easy. There's various responsibilities and sort of permutations and other things as well. But I think sometimes what does happen is people they give themselves that sort of false narrative, narrative, and I suppose what happens over time, you lose sight of who you are and what's important to you and where you want to be. And it's not for the faint-hearted to see things. It's not for the faint-hearted to see things for what they truthfully are. But I think in my experience, long term, it has a broader consequence, because time passes you by and you end up investing your energy in areas that are basically a lost cause, so to speak, rather than putting the energy in areas that are going to give you some return, or in areas that are aligned to what's important to you, your own values, so to speak. So yeah, that's sort of, as always, not here to give any advice or make suggestions. It's just sort of bit of reflecting I was doing, go for a nice spring evening walk. But what's your take on it? It's always interesting to hear what your take on it. That's my sort of take on it. Where, yeah, there sort of comes a time where you got to, you use that sort of brutal honesty, that sort of truth as your compass, to navigate where you're putting your energy in to things, and what you want to put your energy into to go from where you are to where you want to be, so to speak.